Hello there, beautiful, and welcome back to The Dark Alchemist. In today's Pick a Card reading, I'm going to channel messages from your spirit guides about whatever you need to hear most right now. If you've been around here before and you've watched some of my readings before, you may have noticed that my intro looked a little bit different this time. And I haven't been present on this channel on YouTube for a while, so I'm briefly going to catch you up to where I'm at right now. If you're strictly here for the reading, I'm going to leave a timestamp down below for you so you can, just skip ahead to the pile picking straight away. So for those of you that are still with me right now, I want to take a moment first and foremost and thank you for all of the super sweet emails and messages that I received and all of the comments. And I've read a lot of them. I haven't read all of them. I read a lot of them, and I've also read a lot of your emails, even though I haven't responded to all of you. And, I can't even put into words how beautiful the love energy is that you've sent my way, and I appreciate that a lot. So thank you for that. And with that being said, I have actually been doing quite well. I didn't drop out because I was having a personal crisis or whatever. I dropped out because my business was shifting for a while, and I needed time to develop and to create the new. It's not a shift that can be done overnight, and it was not a shift that I could do while I continued to be as present doing readings publicly. I did do client readings and everything else, and I gave Reiki sessions alongside all of that. That's fine, but I couldn't sit down and record a reading. In fact, I did record a few readings, but every single time that I sat down and wanted to edit that, it was a very clear no. Like I couldn't edit that, and I actually ended up scrapping the readings because it was not what I was supposed to do. So my business has shifted for about a year, and it was a slower shift that just started to grow and grow and grow more. You may have noticed that I'm no longer offering EFT sessions, which if you're a client of mine and you've seen me regularly, we of course had a conversation about that. That's not new for you. And the reason is that Reiki just started to grow so much, and my abilities surrounding Reiki grew so much that I cannot keep up with both anymore. You don't just learn the skill once and then you're set for the rest of your business. It's a skill that you should continually progress in, or not necessarily progress, but you keep on learning. You're a student as much as you are a teacher, as much as you're a practitioner. And that's true for EFT, that's true for Reiki. And I just cannot dedicate the time to EFT that I would need to in order to truly be of service, in order to truly be the best practitioner, because again, Reiki gets so big. Very briefly speaking about Reiki, and I'm laughing here because I was on a fast track with everything. So one thing I haven't shared on this channel at all is that I have mediumship abilities. So very keen sense when it comes to sensing spirits and entity encounters and all of that stuff, and has been going on for a couple of years now. It was going on when I was a child, but it went away for a while because I was disconnected from my body, and it started to come back online in 2020 already. And this year, the volume increased a lot. And I basically learned how to use Reiki, which, is this very, very gentle energy healing, the universal love energy, to cleanse entities, cleanse spaces, cleanse people in a very particular way. And that's what I'm offering now. So I'm offering the house cleansings. I'm offering attachment releasements as well with Reiki. And yeah, it's like just a very specific, very specialized way of applying Reiki. So that's what you see me doing. And alongside that, I have started to teach Reiki because I'm a Reiki master now. So all of that was going on for the entire year. And in the last, I think it was 4 months since I did a reading here, is when I fully started to embody that. And I've been seeing clients for all of these things, the attachment releasements of all the different kinds, and house cleansings. I've been doing that one for months. It's funny the way the universe works, because I didn't publicly advertise that that's what I'm doing. I just calmly agreed when I realized that this is where my path was taking me. I agreed that I would take on clients like this, so the clients just immediately started to show up, you know what I mean? So now I'm also verbally communicating. That's what I'm doing. And I'm very excited. I love doing that a lot. It's a very peaceful kind of practice as well. And I will speak more on these topics in the future. I have another project lined up where I'm going to share more about that. I think I want to say, I'm a bit cautious here, but I kind of want to say I think it's gonna go live towards the end of autumn. Okay, that's what I'm aiming for. I'm not the only person involved in this, so I cannot give you a definite date for this right now, but you can hear by my voice that I'm very excited about that part as well. And now we can move on to the reading. I am beyond excited for this reading. You can't believe it. I really, really miss doing these readings, and I didn't realize how much I missed them until I sat down and started to prepare my space today, because I just feel giddy. Okay, with that said, I'm sending you a huge hug, and in the future, if I will go away again for a while, which, there's a winter period of creation, so I can't say that I won't, I will do better with communicating. Because the thing is, I wanted to keep creating, but I just kept running up against this barrier of like, nope, that's not what you're supposed to do right now. And I didn't know how long I would be gone, and I didn't know how to communicate that. So I think I learned now. I hope I learned now. And that I can communicate better in the future. But I am glad that all of you are here, and we're gonna move into this reading. So, for today's reading, I'm going to channel messages from your spirit guides about whatever you need to hear most right now, particularly because I haven't connected with you in a while as well. I just want to, drop into the collective and see what's going on, so I can build the next couple of readings on this one here today. We have 3 piles, and today we don't have crystals to choose from. We, quote unquote, just have the cards, but you will see that they are quite potent. And we have 3 piles, pile 1, 2, and 3. So I'm going to show the cards now. For pile number 1, we have number 44, Weavers Know That All Is God. For pile number 2, we have 37 with Time to Dance Around the Sun. And for pile number 3, we have 15 with In the Middle of the Bridge. As per usual, I'm going to zoom in for you in a moment and give you about a minute of meditation with some music. Take a couple of deep breaths and then see which pile or maybe piles you feel most drawn to. and you'll find the timestamps down below. And I will see you in your selected piles. If you felt drawn to this lovely card number 44, Weavers Know That All Is God, then this is your reading, my lovely pile number ones. And we are going to start by reading from the guidebook because the messages from these cards are our intro messages for today. So I'm going to have a look at that. I'm going to show you the card a bit closer. Weavers know that all is God. Essential meaning. The conscious universe is the source of supply. Spirit is fundamental to life. The mystical is the primary reality. The weavers know that all is God. Do you? This is a profound magical time in your life. And it's important that you recognize your relationship with your higher power as essential and primary. Consider all the gifts of your very existence. When you breathe, ask yourself, who is breathing you? What force moves through you, animating you and those you love? The universe is the spark of life within you and nature. In you is true magic, connecting you to the web of all creation. Each strand woven on your behalf is pure consciousness. Right now, you're being asked to remember this and feel what that means to you. Every single thing in your life is sacred and infused with the power of spirit, God, and conscious universe. Even your difficulties are infused with the sacred and are always beckoning you to remember who you truly are. An immortal spiritual being having a mortal human experience. Can you see right now that whatever you're asking about has divinity? Can you see right now that whatever you're asking about has divinity sparkling through it? Treat the subject of your query with reverence and step into the sacred dance. You cannot go wrong. You are meant to have this experience right now. That is a very powerful message in terms of fated life, destiny life, or I should say fated experience, destiny experience. Okay, we're gonna pull some more cards because I would like to see what's going on. What is this experience that they're speaking about, basically? So which deck should I choose from? Okay, I just heard the word shift, and I need to use this deck. All right. So all of these decks that I have by my side, by the way, are pre-shuffled already. So, yeah. Okay, so for pile number one, what is this experience about? What is this experience about? Okay, we got more cosmic energy. Star being guides, answer the call, time to shine. With the Venusian Galactic Council. I would like to pull a second one. What is this experience about? What is this experience about for my lovely pile number ones? Oh. That one came out kind of funny. Serious star blessings. Yes, proceed, be seen, push through. You got two, like answer the call, time to shine, be seen, and push through. All right. So I feel like we got a little bit more, and I feel like this deck, we got it. At the bottom of the deck, we have Crystal, Skull, Wisdom, Clarity, Divine Healing, High Vibrational Energy. Let me see. I feel like... Let me take a moment and tune into the energy. Okay, so that's the obstacle that you're facing at the moment, is the fear of being seen. The fear of being seen. You want to come out of the spiritual closet in a bigger way than you previously have. Some of you are not out of the spiritual closet at all. Which is not a judgment, by the way, okay? We've all been there. Particularly if you don't grow up in an area that is... Or... if you don't grow up in a culture where spirituality is valued, it's a thing. I get it. Been there. I want to pull some cards for that specifically. Okay, let me pull from here. What is the story connected to this fear of being seen? Like what's the story here? Okay. Okay, and these two? No, okay, not that one. Bottom deck energy I will look at in a moment. Sort my cards briefly. We got 13, the card of the broom. Tidy up your life so you can make space for something better. We have... Knight of Wands. Sometimes you have to be willing to bend the rules a little. We have Four of Pentacles. Treat yourself to something shiny every now and again. We have the Cozy Witch. Take a chance, for each morning is a new beginning. And I feel like there are two more that want to come out. Which deck, though? Okay, from a different deck. Okay. Please give me the fear energy, or the representation of the fear energy for my pile number ones. Okay, that one came out immediately. The Judgment card. I mean, you can't make this up. This is, yep. And the second card to share how they can overcome that fear energy. Okay. Oh, the Page of Swords. I love her. I love her so much. Okay. I've been getting this card a lot, so I'm very intimately familiar with this particular Page of Swords. It guided me through the last 4 months. Okay, we got the Four of Swords underneath the deck. All right. Okay, so we got the topic here of scarcity mindset and wanting to sneak away quietly, to slip underneath the radar. So basically, with this fear of being seen when you know you're being called to like step forward in a bigger way. Perhaps you are even creating something that you want to share with the world in a bigger way or in a more public way, which would then mean that other people know that you are spiritual to some degree or have specific beliefs. Perhaps with the star being guides here, that you consider yourself a starseed and you have perhaps memories of not being from Earth or memories from places that are not Earth, like past life memories or future life memories, however you want to see that, or however fits with you. And there is a fear of judgment. We saw the judgment card straight away. And the Knight of Wands here, let me show you this card. The Knight of Wands shows the imagery of someone who late at night wants to sneak out of their room. Wants to sneak out of their room without their parents or parental figures, or let's say some kind of authoritative figures to know what you're doing. So there is this really kind of like hush-hush energy about what you want to do. You know, you just want to quietly sneak out, go to the rave, so to speak, go to the rave and then come back home and no one will know. So there is this conflict between wanting to be seen more fully and the fear of being judged for who you truly are, what you truly see yourself as, what you truly want to embody. We got, with the Four of Pentacles here, the topic of security that's highlighted, because the Four of Pentacles speaks about someone who has built a certain sense of stability, particularly financial stability, but it's more about, in the context of this reading, it's more about having built a stable foundation with a particular community or a stable kind of foundation out in the material world. And the fear of losing it all, and the fear of losing it all because you are stepping out, because people will find out what you've been doing behind the scenes when you sneak out to these raves or these retreats, or, you know, this kind of, it's almost this feeling of like living a bit of a double life where the people that are present in your life don't really know you. They don't really know the real you because you have not been sharing that part of you. With the tidy up here, with the card number 13, with the tidy up card, this speaks about a rebalancing of the energy. And rebalancing of the energy in this particular instance comes from feeling the fear, but not letting that fear hold you back from being who you truly are and sharing who you truly are. This act of rebalancing, this act of tidying up your life would mean to step out on this new journey. You see here the Cozy Witch, which is the Fool card, you know, the very first card of the tarot deck, the new beginning, would be to take a chance, because at the present time, your mind is projecting how people will react to what you might have to share. And I'm not saying that everything is unfounded and that everyone will like it. That's not what I'm saying at all. But you might be surprised by who actually has similar sentiments. It's almost like you are sitting at a table and everyone is holding their cards very, very close to their chest and not letting anyone else see what's going on truly. So you're all walking around with masks on your faces, and judging each other and the true beliefs of each other just based on this mask, but you don't really know what's behind the surface. And you stepping out and sharing a little bit here and there about yourself gives others the opportunity to drop their own masks, and then it's almost this feeling of relief that's present, of like, oh my God, thank you for speaking about that. I actually had an experience that is kind of similar and I have no clue what to do with this. And then people start to talk, people start to share, particularly when it comes to spirituality and experiences with the unseen to some degree, whatever degree might be present, you know. Maybe dream work, maybe being visited in dreams by passed on relatives or some other kind of encounters, seeing things out of the corner of your eye, etc. You would be surprised by how many people had some kind of experiences in their life that they connect to that particular topic, have no idea how to explain it, and never share about it, because in the Western world, at least, it's not something that's very accepted to talk about and to share. You know, you're very easy to get labeled as crazy and delusional. And I mean, I don't have to tell you that, because that's exactly the story that your mind has been telling you. But I'm here to offer you a different perspective of, you would be surprised by how many people are like, oh my God, I did this thing one time in my life and something happened and it freaked me out. And I don't know what to do with this. And it basically deterred me from going deeper. You would be surprised. So there is an advice to open up a little at a time, to move through this barrier that your mind has projected there. And again, there will be some people who won't connect with you. That's also true. But when that time comes, you will be able to handle it. But it's not all going to be negative, you know. Not every person's going to tell you that you're insane, you're making it up. There will be a lot of people who are like, oh my God, let's have a conversation about this. Thank you. Last week, No. So you'll be surprised. And what this is going to do, it's going to free up a lot of energy within you, a lot of energy to move forward with your project, to create what you want to create. It will help you build more courage in yourself to pour all of that energy into being seen more. You know, this barrier of, or this fear of being seen, this fear of coming out of the spiritual closet, it's something that gets moved bit by bit. When we are standing on the other side of this wall or this barrier looks insurmountable. Like we couldn't possibly move past it, but there's always this feeling of, if I bring this barrier down, then the entire world is going to look at me, and the entire world is going to judge me, and the entire world is going to have everything to say about that. When in reality, it's not the entire world that will come at you at once. And it will be like a little bit will be down, and you will get the feedback that you get, which is, you know, partly positive. People will start to connect with you on a deeper level, which is the huge upside of opening up and sharing a little bit, is that you will connect with people who are like you, who have similar interests as you, who have a similar vibration, similar frequency as you, and now they can see you because your mask is no longer down. So this fear of loneliness, even though there may be some periods that are a bit more alone, where you will be a bit more alone as you are navigating and moving towards what is actually meant for you, ultimately that's not the entirety of your life. The kind of community that is waiting for you, that connects with you on a deep level, I don't have the words to describe how wonderful, supportive, loving, cherishing they are of you and your energy. It's like you are that one perfect puzzle piece that fits into that community. You know, so this kind of situation completely flips upside down, where you no longer need to sneak out to do what you want to do. You're actually going to sit down at a table, and let me see if I can pull a card from this for this. What is it going to look like when they allow themselves to be seen? Wow, okay, that was immediate. we got... Wow. Oh, my Lord. Okay. We got the Sun card, which is give yourself permission to experience joy, but the Sun card is the most positive card in the entire tarot deck. It speaks about the abundance, and speaking of abundance, the second card that you got is the card of the Empress. There's beauty to be found in every experience, and you see that kind of nurturing energy, right? The nurturing energy. I also want to notice, or want to make you notice, that there is a person alone in each one of these. And then suddenly, something has been born. There is a baby present. Something has been born. There is a family connection present. And there is a nurturing of a new kind of family happening. Wow. I mean, sunflowers as well. You got the bees, the pollinators. I mean, bees live in big hives together as well. And that's kind of how I see light workers or starseeds. We're all little bees, part of a very, very big beehive that spans the entire globe. And each of us is a little worker bee working in our little corner and doing our little job. But together we make up a hive, and we're called to connect more and more with each other to create bigger and bigger things. So the community aspect is present here. I'm going to see if I can place these up here for now for you. Yeah. And yeah, so I spoke about this shifting where you no longer need to sneak out, but you will be sitting at a table having lunch with your friends or with your loved ones, and you will openly talk about what you want to do, how you want to create it, get feedback. There's a feeling of moving from isolation to collaboration with others surrounding this. But in order for them to find you, in order for them to be able to connect with you, you need to allow yourself to be seen. Because otherwise all they see is the mask that everyone else is wearing, and they won't know that they would actually have a friend in you. Which brings me to this lovely Page of Swords. And I'm going to read this from the guidebook for you. It's a very short, brief message. Okay, Page of Swords. Oh no, I forgot how this is structured. The pages are at the beginning. All right, Page of Swords. Basically, this is the energy that you are growing into. Once you allow yourself to be seen a little bit and you start to get the first positive feedback, it's almost like a dam that is breaking. So, she acts like a rushing wind. Her presence demonstrated how a person can harness a vast amount of energy and use it for logical, sharp, and insightful conversation and projects. Be cautious of sharp energies that could appear harsh or cold. And the last sentence with a warning, I don't feel that's applicable for your reading, but I wanted to say it regardless because, yeah, it's part of it. That's it. That's the project. It's allowing yourself to be seen so that your tribe can find you and come together. I kind of feel like I just want to pull 2 more cards. And we're going to move this energy all the way back because I feel like, that's the energy that you're moving out of, and we don't need to look at that one a lot longer. The Judgment also. I wanted to say fuck the Judgment. Some people may judge. Of course they may judge. But there's so much to gain as well. There's a world to gain, Truly belonging to a community is priceless. Truly feeling seen and heard is priceless. I'm feeling an energy of loneliness coming from you, like a sadness, a loneliness of a feeling of I've been alone for so long. Like I've been holding on for so long. And you've been holding on for so long. And you know, this journey of loneliness and feeling like you're this little spark of light that was born into this environment of darkness, and fighting and fighting and fighting to keep your spark alive and to grow it even. I know that journey takes a lot out of you. And I know at times it feels like you will never belong. And like no one will ever really get it. I understand. And I understand your fear. I get it. You've been rejected before, so your mind is painting the imagery. You're not the only one that's shifting here. I mean, there are many people listening to Pile 1 right now, or will listen to this pile in the future, who resonate with this message, which is the first indicator that you are not alone. So if you're part of Pile 1 and you want to write something encouraging down in the comments for everyone else, please go ahead and do that. But you are part of a much bigger shift that we are all a part of. And we are moving into a new, or we have moved into a new way of being in the world. And that's why the light workers, why the Starseeds are being called into community now. You're not the only one. It's a call for all of us, for each of us, to come together, to create change, to create beauty, to create heaven on earth. Create abundance for all, joy for all. You are a part of a bigger community. The only change is that you will meet this community in the physical now, but you've always been a part of our community, always. And a lot of us felt this sense of isolation. I can sense that it's almost difficult for you to be hopeful and take the message that I've been giving you on as a personal message, you know? It's like the mind is doubting that this is for you. The mind is saying, yeah, okay, nice message, but I don't think it's for me. And on that front, I'm inviting your spirit guides in to deliver you confirmation for this reading. And in this very moment, you yourself can set a sign that you want to see from your spirit guides. You can even take a moment and pause the reading and convene with them for 5 minutes, and just in your mind, you can set whatever you want. Okay, you can set, I want to see 10:10, I want to see 11:11, I want to see a dolphin. It doesn't matter. You know, one way or another, you will receive that confirmation from your guides. And this is important for you to know. Which brings us back to the starter message of, it's time for you to fully connect with that energy, to believe in that energy with that power. It's no coincidence that when we look at the card, we see a rainbow road that's leading straight into a portal. And this portal like almost connects with her hair here. You see that? Like that, just the way that the imagery is connected. Set your confirmation. Go about your life, moving through the world, and keep your eyes open. Hoping for this, of course, would be fantastic, but if that's not where you're at right now, just be curious. Curiosity can carry you and take you a very, very long way. being curious to what will unfold in itself creates a sense of opening, an opening to, I don't really know what's happening next. It's one way of detaching from the mind story, of detaching from the story that your mind is spinning of how this will go. Just saying, I don't know, when thinking optimistically about what will happen is too big for you, that's okay. Like, don't berate yourself for that. That's fine. Okay, that's all right. Move into curiosity. I don't really know how this will go. I'm just going to give it a go, and I'll see what happens. That little opening that you leave there is the opening for your guides to come in, for your community to come in little ways, and that will start to build your trust in what's actually going on, build your trust with your own intuition as well, where you have felt this energy for a while, and it's no coincidence, of course, that this has been on your mind of being seen, and it's almost this inner pressure that you're feeling to communicate that, to speak and share. It's an inner pressure that has been building. The thing as well is you can't really push it down. Like, it's going to erupt at some point. Whether that's now, whether that's in 5 years, whether that's in 10 years, it's going to erupt regardless. The community is ready for you. The question is about, when will you allow yourself to receive that kind of support in your life? So again, this little opening of the curiosity, that's all you need. Just being curious. I don't know what will happen. Let's see. And then if you start to share and you are met with some negative input from other people, just know that this is not a reflection of the entirety of your community. It's just one person that is not a part of that community that supports you. Don't take it so personally, which I know is very easy to say in a reading like this and very difficult to put into practice in your regular life, right? Because we're not talking about theoretics here. We're talking about your life. We're talking about the loved ones in your life. We're talking about the people that you have connected with previously. But every single time that feeling of rejection comes up, allow yourself to feel the rejection, of course, don't suppress it. And at the same time, remind yourself that it's just someone who is not on this rainbow bridge or this rainbow bridge with you. They're going in a different direction, which is okay as well. It's just a different direction. It's nothing personal. I feel like you need one closing message, and I think then the reading is actually finished. That's the message that needed to come through. And I actually have 2 decks to pull from. The first one is this. It's a gentle message for you. It's a gentle closing message from my pile number 1s. What gentle message do you have for them? Okay. What gentle message do you have for my pile number 1s? 1 card, please. I said 1 card. I knew that they were going to give me more than 1, and we got 3 cards. Bottom deck energy, by the way, is, again, a similar energy to the full card. It says, morning dew, clarity, a fresh start, a positive outlook. It took me a while to read that because I was trying to read that from my little camera monitor and I'm not wearing my glasses. But you see, this is the same energy as the full card, and what I spoke about with the curiosity, a positive outlook. It's just, it's something new. Like, you cannot judge or you cannot assess what's coming up for you based on your previous experiences because everything is new. And this is a huge crisis for the human mind, because the human mind likes to assess and analyze situations based on previous experiences, which is a good thing in general, because otherwise every single sound that we would hear would be heavily overwhelming and we would be in constant overload. So, it has its purpose, but it also has its downsides. Okay, so let's see. We got the sacred union, beloved within inner and outer relationships. Oh, that's a good reminder. I wanted to speak about that earlier, and then I spoke about something else and I forgot about it. So thank you, guys. You need to accept that spiritual part of yourself fully and not judge yourself for it. Forgive yourself for the past self-judgment that happened here and fully embrace yourself. The more you do, the more open you will be with new people, the more positive energy you will send out, and the more people you will draw to you that match that frequency. Believe in yourself, believe yourself, trust yourself, and treat yourself well. There may even be, for some of you, there may even be some self-punishing behavior going on a very subtle scale. It's like every time that some of you are reading tarot yourselves, every single time that you're reading tarot or engaging in some kind of spiritual ritual or whatever your jam is, because this is a collective reading, so it differs. Every single time when you've done that and you've connected with that side of yourself, you spend some time that day or the following days to engage in behavior that is not supportive of yourself. And it's subtle, it's subtle. It's something like eating foods that are not supporting you and are actually not just not supporting you, but let's say you are lactose intolerant and you have something with lactose or dairy in it and it makes you feel awful. And so you end your day feeling awful. Or you procrastinate going to sleep by doing something that is vibrational, also a mismatch to where you've been before. So almost like pulling yourself down to a certain vibration again towards the end of the day, so that if you self-punished to the old baseline. Start working on these smaller things of treating yourself nicely, consciously treating yourself nicely and well when you have connected with your practice of choice. Interesting. We have the bloom, creations realized, right time, harvest, and celebrate. The blooming here refers to your own energy. I do see a flower that's, flower bud that's opening, that's blossoming. And this imagery of blossoming is your energy, is you sharing of yourself. And celebrate when you share of yourself, when you share yourself, when you allow yourself to be seen. It's the right time for it. And, because the right time here is highlighted again, we got that in the opening message as well. I did briefly want to add here that when it comes to the right time, you were not wrong for hiding yourself. And I need to emphasize that because you need to hear it. You were not wrong for hiding yourself the way that you did. You did what you needed to do to survive, and you did what you needed to do in order to develop yourself in peace or relative peace. What you have done is you have created a very strong foundation inside of yourself, a very strong foundation of spiritual beliefs that align with you and your values, which gives you a very strong position to then move out and allow yourself to be seen, because you're not easily swayed, you're not easily manipulated, you're not easily controlled is a word that comes through, which is interesting. A very, very strong sense of self is what you have developed by yourself. Part of the magic that you will experience as you're going out and starting to share is how many people themselves have come to similar conclusions or had similar experiences and then created similar conclusions, had got similar messaging surrounding the same topics, all of us in isolation. You know, it's almost a way to strengthen your belief even more. How many people can have the same messages come to them without talking to each other, without living close to each other all over the world? Like, how many people? And then sharing that feeling, that acting according to these, on these feelings, on these intuitive feelings. Like, how many people? How many people are too many people for it to be a coincidence? That kind of topic comes through here. It's almost, like a celebration, a confirmation. And then we have the grandmothers. We got the ancestors coming through for you. Remember your roots, perspective, and trust the weavings. Trust the weavings, again, is another way of saying trust the timing of your life. We spoke about, with our opening session, our opening statement, we spoke about how this is the experience that you are meant to have right now. It's happening. It is happening. There's nothing you can do to stop that from happening. To stop the community from coming together, to stop yourself from being and becoming visible part of this community. How beautiful is that? That makes me so happy. This community energy. And I want to pull one final card here. One final card from my lovely pile ones. Just one this time. Only accepting one card. Thank you. Impatience. My life, oh my Lord. My life is unfolding in divine timing. All delays are beneficial. I am always at the right place at the right time. And there you have your affirmation to live by. My life is unfolding in divine timing. All delays are beneficial. I am always at the right place at the right time. All right. So my lovely pile number ones, this is where I want to leave your reading. It has been an absolute pleasure to read your energy and to be able to connect with your energy. I am so excited for what's up ahead for you. I can't even put it into words. And I'm also going to leave you with one more offering. Because of the sadness that I've felt coming through in your reading, I want to leave you with a nurturing Reiki practice that I have already created and channeled, I think, last year. And it's a Reiki session, a 30-minute Reiki treatment that is focused on emotional healing. And I'm going to leave that in the description box down below for you so that you can watch it, connect with the Reiki energy anytime you want, just as a bit of a nurturing practice, as a bit of a healing practice. All right, so have a beautiful rest of your day. I hope to see you soon again, and I'm excited for you. I'm sending you a hug. Bye. If you have been drawn to this beautiful card with a griffin, time to dance around the sun, then welcome to your reading, my lovely pile number twos. And Because this is our intro message into today's reading, I'm going to read that for you from the guidebook. And then we will see where the reading takes us from there. I got a bunch of decks shuffled right next to me already for your pile, whichever ones I felt drawn to, and then we will see what comes up. So I'll show you the card. 37, time to dance around the sun. Essential meaning: victory after hard work, celebration of achievements, having the advantage to win. When it's time to dance around the sun, you can be sure of sweet victory in all of your endeavors. Perhaps you're surprised at this sudden success? Don't be. You've worked hard to be here now, learned many lessons and integrated their wisdom, and finally chose the right actions. It's true you didn't do everything, all the work to get here. The universe has been working on your behalf in the hidden realms for some time now to co-create your dreams and weave them into reality. How could you doubt this mystical, magical partnership with the divine? Yes, sometimes things take longer than you hope for, but you keep acting on faith, trusting that the form of your dreams will manifest in perfect ways and in perfect timing. Now is the time to celebrate your good fortune and share it with others. You are a beacon of hope for many to have the courage you have shown to. Let me reread that. You are a beacon of hope for many to have the courage you have shown to. In so many ways, your success gives others hope. Isn't that a beautiful thing? All right. So that is our starting message. And I want to go a little bit deeper. I say I want, but I feel called to go a little bit deeper into the ways in which the universe has been working on your behalf in the hidden realms. There's a message there, and then we're also going to look a little bit at your success for sure. But I do very strongly feel drawn to looking into how the universe has been working on your behalf behind the scenes. I also want to say congratulations. Congratulations. Okay, which card? All right, this one. So, for my lovely pile number 2s, how has the universe been working on their behalf in the hidden realms? How has the universe been working on their behalf? Okay, we got 3 cards coming out. Is there one more? Okay, I just heard no. Guess not. So, bottom deck energy, there we go, is the Seas of Mintaka with seeing potential and bringing unconsciousness to light. I will actually take that as a message card. We got baby steps, action, follow your intuition before it makes sense. I need to take a moment with this card here because I'm seeing a visual and I need to tune in for a moment, all right? Okay, I'm smiling. Your spirit guides are basically, you see the depiction here, how there are 2 people here that are walking up this like rock that's kind of floating in the middle of space up into this portal. And they had you shifting timelines and shifting timelines and shifting timelines. And this is the reason why it's coming so sudden from a feeling perspective for you now, is because you've been so focused on following this little trail of breadcrumb actions, you know, like you've been taking these little actions, all of the right actions at all of the right times. And the particular actions that you have received through your intuition have been given to you by your spirit guides, and they were leading you to all of these different kind of portals where you, from this portal point, you could jump timeline to timeline to timeline. And even though in the physical, things haven't moved as fast as you would have liked and haven't moved in the way that you wanted them to necessarily. It's because you have been jumping through these different timelines. And the one that you're on now is the one that will bring the success in very, very quickly, very suddenly, because of all of these actions that you've taken. You know, it was a longer journey of preparing yourself energetically to be aligned with this timeline. And that meant that a lot of the unconscious needed to come to light. You know, this, what we see here, the crystal clear water. It was a purification process that you've been going through, where lots of challenging emotions were also coming up to the surface, patterns that you had that needed to be looked at, that came to the surface. And honestly, it was a time where things sometimes felt quite dreadful. That's the energy that I'm feeling, because the things that are coming up to the surface were not easy to deal with at all. There are very challenging emotions, very challenging situations, very painful patterns in your life that were brought up to the surface so that you could clear it, cleanse it. And every single time when you cleared and cleansed it, you were able to jump into a much higher timeline. So you've basically been taking these huge leaps and bounds from an energetic perspective, and the physical is now going to show you the results of all of this work. And that's why it feels almost like overwhelming, but in a good way. You know, overwhelming, but in a good way. And I say in a good way because it's like you've been, I don't even want to say walk. I have a word in mind, but I don't know if that's the right word. You know, I'm not a super native speaker, so you've been trudging this path for a while. And I say trudge because I see the imagery of someone that's you're in the countryside and you're trying to walk up a mountain, and it's been raining for a while, so everything is muddy. Like the entire road is muddy, the little foot track is muddy, everything is muddy. And each time that you place a foot down on the ground, it's sort of like, you know, it sinks in a little bit into the mud, and then it takes a lot of effort to pull it out again and to take the next step, and then you sink in a little bit again. But like bit by bit, you are still moving up the mountain. Like, you know, you're on that path, but that feeling of the mud, like sinking into the mud, and then the effort, the pure effort that it takes to pull your foot out of the mud, that's kind of the depiction that I get for the kind of clearing that you've been doing, the effort that was involved in the clearing. So with the mud as well, right, you sink down. So in terms of how you felt during this journey, that's why I said it's so difficult, because it's like you jumped into this new timeline and you felt good for like a hot second, and then it felt like you were being pulled down again. And that was the sensation, you know, like of sinking into the mud for a moment. And then you clear it, cleanse it, take the next step, jump to the next timeline, and there's a sensation again of like sinking down into the mud. And like, again, like the mud that wasn't there to punish you at all. It was an intense boot camp of clarifying and purifying, so that you would be able to reach this level of success that you are now about to see in your life as fast as you do now. Do you understand what I'm saying? If you would not have moved and taken the actions, made the decisions that you've made, and didn't move in that particular way, you would still see the success, but it would be like, I'm hearing like decades later, decades later, that you would be able to see that. So that was the fast track. So you're coming out of a period that felt quite rough. Let me look at the other two cards, because I actually haven't looked at them. No way. Okay, that's the portal card. I didn't even see that the portal card also came out. Wow. Oh my god, that's wild. I'm sorry, but that is wild. So look, portal, you decide, doors are opening, rewards, wild card. You see that, right? So you get the portal present in both cards. And it's funny because when I look at let me take a moment here. I need to bring them a bit closer to my face because I'm not wearing my glasses, okay? And I'm recording this in the semi-darkness, so... So the portals are not the same portal. You see that as well. So let me show you so you can also see a bit clearer. Here you go. I know all of the German words for the way that this is architecturally structured, but I don't know any of the English ones. And then you see here, this looks different, right? We got the different. Oh my God. There's the different columns. Okay, thank you. We got the different like half columns that are staggered here. And you see it's kind of flat. We get a different structure, and at the top you got some runes. Runes are present here as well. So this is a representation of the different kind of portals that you've walked through. Doors are opening, you decide, rewards. There is a sense of freedom that you are receiving already as a reward for that kind of journey. And it's because you've been moving through a lot of your karmic balance that you wanted to rebalance in this lifetime. You've been moving through that on a fast track. And there are different opportunities for you to go forward now, different ways in which your life can pan out, different avenues that you can go down with different kinds of endings. Like, what's interesting about this is that every single avenue that you can go down will be highly Sorry, I can't speak. Will be highly successful for you. Like, it doesn't even matter which direction you turn. Like, it will be successful for you. We got. I'm a bit baffled by that. Gotta be honest with you. Like, that's a beautiful reading. Don't get me wrong. It's just the magnitude of that energy of fully being able to choose where you want to go next and knowing ahead of time that whichever direction you choose, like, it will be very successful for you. That's incredible. Like, really good job on the purification work that you've been doing. Wow. All right. And then we got double mission. Lightworker Starseed, serve the world by being you. That's why I just spoke about you clearing and rebalancing the karmic debt that you wanted to clear in this lifetime. That's why I spoke about that. That's the one part of the mission. One part of the equation is the personal soul development that you came here for. The second mission is now the second part is to serve the world by being you, which means bringing your purified and light kind of energy, bringing that purified and light kind of energy into the world. The question is, which avenue will you choose? Or maybe let's not say which avenue will you choose, because I think we got a collective present here. So each of you will choose a different option, but maybe let's have a look at the different avenues that you could go down. I think that would be interesting. All right. Yeah. Let me move these two because these two are kind of past energies for me, I feel like. And let's leave these two up here, and then I'm gonna see which deck I feel drawn to. It's funny, I didn't have this deck out before, by the way, and then I started to prepare and shuffle decks for your pile, and I knew and I heard that I needed to pull out this particular one. And now I know why. Good choice. Okay, so I'm supposed to pull 3 different cards from 3 different piles for 3 different avenues, and then I will need to pull some clarification cards for that. So for avenue number 1, oh, and they also want me to remind you that this is just 3 avenues, okay? It's not the only 3 choices that are there. There are, in fact, many more choices than 3, and you will find in your individual journey that maybe these 3 that I will share now are not for you. Okay, they want me to clarify even further. So, listen, when I'm doing a reading like this one, reading for a collective, pick a card reading is still 3 different groups, 3 different collectives of the whole collective, right? What I am doing is I am doing an energy reading. I'm reading your energy. And the reason that the energy or this reading can feel so personal for so many of you is that I have this entire pool of the collective, like the entire pool of people that are either watching this video now or will watch it in the future. Because in terms of energy, past, present, and future don't exist. It just all is one. So that's the energy that I'm tapping into. In this collective of energy, there are certain similarities in terms of energy, certain energy patterns that separate this collective, or not separate, that form, that's much better, that form sort of like subgroups within this collective, and then whatever topic I channel for, these kind of subgroups of this collective are who I am reading for. That's the collective kind of energy of this subgroup that I'm tapping into. But remember, within this subgroup, there are then many individuals, such as yourself, who may or may not fully align with every single aspect of this reading of this collective energy. And you need to know that. I'm not 100% sure why you need to know that, but you do need to know that. So that means that the 3 avenues that I'm reading now are 3 dominant energies in this subgroup of this collective. All right? And it doesn't mean that this will apply to each and every one of you. It's just one possibility. And if any of you at any point of your journey would like me specifically to channel more deeply for you, you can, of course, book a personal reading with me. You'll find the link down in the description if you feel called for that at all. Yeah, but you need to know that, all right. Interesting. I don't think I ever had to. I don't think I ever felt called to explain the way that I read and how that works before. Okay, let's see. So, avenue number 1 for my lovely pile 2s. 1 card for pile number 1. Oh, wow, that one came out fast. You saw that, right? Bottom deck energy, we got the topic of well-being. I'm gonna move that over here for now. We're not gonna look at that. We're gonna unveil them one by one. Okay, so avenue number 2 for my group 2. Okay, this one we saw, purification. Okay, I already have immediate immediately I see that as teaching and sharing from personal experience, basically teaching others to purify at the same speed that you did, like the timeline skipping and everything, like sharing and teaching that and teaching others how to purify themselves and their own energy in the way that you have. It's interesting that particularly teaching came through. I mean, there is a practice involved, of course, but it's particularly teaching. Okay. And underneath we have change. Yeah. Teaching others how to create change through changing their energy first and foremost. That's really interesting. Okay. And then the last deck. What is the last deck? This one or that one? Okay, it's this. I need to pull a clarifier for this already. I know. All right. So on avenue number 3. Avenue number 3. What is avenue number 3? Okay. All right. I'm going to show it to you because it popped out, and then this one we'll look at later. We got the central sun, abundance, downloads, regeneration, and success. You see the similarity in the imagery here, right? With the griffin holding the sun and the... what's the English name for this bug again? Scarab? Something like that. This bug. Again, I know the name for it in German, but I think it's the scarab beetle. Scarab beetle. Yeah, I think so. Anyway, that one, that one that you see here. You see he's holding the sun, and you see that the griffin here, they're also holding the sun. Okay. And then underneath we have Arcturian light codes, evolutionary downloads, recalling power, future thinking. Oh my god, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. All right, but I need to pull a clarifier for that one. And it needs to be from this deck. So please clarify this central sun for me. Please clarify the central sun for me. Okay, that one was immediate. We got the card of Pluto coming out. That's quite the contrast in imagery, isn't it? And underneath it we have spring. I need to take spring too. Okay. You know what? I feel like making a little bit of space. I don't want to move that like fully away, but maybe we can move it a little bit off to the side for now here. And then have this one. We didn't look at the first part. Lighten your load. Feeling the weight of the world. Feeling the weight of the world. And what was the bottom deck energy for that one? The bottom deck energy was well-being, right? Yeah, well-being. Purification. I need to take the bottom deck energies. I need to add them to it. Purification, and where do I have the deck? I just put it to the side. Change. We had the central sun and Arcturian light codes. And then we had the clarifiers of Pluto and spring. All right. So I'm going to pull some more cards for each of these avenues as well. Don't worry about it. And we're going to keep it relatively brief. Lighten your load, well-being. And remember, we're talking about, maybe I'm just reminding myself more than you. Remember that we're talking about the double mission. Your Lightworker / Starseed mission. Lightworker / Starseed mission. on how to serve the world by being you. Which avenue to go down? Avenue 1, lighten your load and well-being. I want to let you know first and foremost that there is a red thread going through each of these avenues, because every single one of these is connected to topics of doing specific kinds of energy work. Even though it manifests in different ways, it's not always apparent as energy work. For example, it's not if we take me, for example, I do energy work. I'm a Reiki healer. I'm a Reiki master. So, that is a very, very prominent label of energy work. But not every single one of these avenues looks from the outside or from the surface looking at it, doesn't look like energy work. But every single one of these is dedicated and very specialized kind of energy work. So that is what you have mastered throughout your journey so far with the mud. And it manifests itself, or like you sharing that knowledge manifests itself in different ways. I do want to mention that in every single one of these imageries or every single one of these avenues, the energy of the sun, which is a very, very active, a yang kind of energy, is at its core, at its center. Why do I say that? We have the sun here with lighten your load. We got the sunflower, and we have the depiction of the sun here, which again comes back to time to dance around the sun. What this means is that you are teaching less from a theoretical standpoint and much more from a practical standpoint. So every single one of these avenues teaches people how to take action in a specific direction. The yang kind of energy, taking action. It's connected to topics of power and empowering others. So the first avenue, which with lighten your load and well-being, is connected to people who are quite literally feeling the weight of the world on their shoulders, feeling like it's all too much, I do get that this group of people are highly, highly sensitive. Quite a few of them are starseeds themselves and they feel the density of this world a lot more than others. And they feel broken by the density of this world a lot more. And when I say broken, it's like the suffering that's present here, the ways in which people are treating each other is something that weighs very, very, very heavily on these people. So you're teaching them how to lighten the load and return to a state of well-being despite being here, despite the density all around, despite how other people are treating each other, despite what's going on. It's an energetic boundary. Oh, interesting. An energetic boundary service that you are providing for these people. I don't fully know how to go deeper into the topic of energetic boundary service because that's exactly how it came out, but I feel like I don't necessarily need to. I do want to pull a few cards on this. Which deck? What do we got? We got this one or this one? This deck. Okay. Please clarify Avenue 1 for me. Okay, very clear. Okay. And I need to draw Page of Swords underneath the deck. And I need to draw one more from here. Please clarify Avenue 1. Thank you. Yes or no? Okay. Bottom deck is Broom. Tidy up your life so you can make space for something better. Okay. We got the card of the Ace of Swords. We got the Two of Pentacles. Let me move this up a bit so you can see. We got the card of the Empress. Okay, let me... Fighting a bit with my setup here today. We get the Four of Pentacles. Treat yourself to something shiny every now and again. And we have the Justice. Stick to your truth and everything will turn out just fine. With the Two of Pentacles in the in the center of your reading here for this avenue, it's about rebalancing. It's about balancing out the energy of your clients. You see, I mean, there are two present here, but the load is not equal, and you see here it's an equal load. It's a rebalancing. That is what you will teach them, how to balance their own energy out. With the Ace of Swords, there is an empowerment of the mind, a cutting through all the noise that comes from outside in terms of thoughts that other people have about them, judgments from other people, how other people are handling their lives, how other people are structuring what they think the norm is, how they think other people should behave. There is an empowerment of the mind that goes alongside the rebalancing of the energy, as well as a liberation. You are teaching them to sit on the thrones in their own mind, where they become their own authority over their own lives. Very powerful, because everything starts in the mind. And the mind is the governing agency. And then we have the Empress, which is the nurturing energy. It's the energy of like nurturing themselves, but it's also allowing them to, I mean, we got the card of well-being here. That's one aspect. But the second aspect is the long-term effect of you working with them. Them rebalancing learning how to rebalance their energy. We talked about you having this boundary, creating this boundary service to whichever degree. Teaching them how to master their mind, how to take agency of their mind, allows them to stay in their own energy long enough to then go forth and create something new from their own energy. And what they will create is very much outside of the norm, but it is very needed. You know, we see here she's highly pregnant. It allows them to birth these ideas out into the world. And with the Four of Pentacles, treat yourself to something shiny now and again. This speaks about the topic of stability. It speaks about the topic of material stability, financial stability, and the fear of holding on too much to something that was once created. Holding on to old norms, holding on to old patterns of behavior, holding on to old ways that, or how things should be done. Basically, it's someone who has managed to find their place in society, but it's not where they belong. There's something else that wants to pour forth, but this sense of stability and the fear connected to the unknown is stopping them and holding them in place. So in terms of people, those are the kinds of people that come, you know, they feel this kind of weight of the world, the pressure of conforming, the pressure of doing what everyone else has done, doing what is proven, doing what is expected of them. That's the kind of weight of the world, but it's not where they naturally want to go. It's reached a point where it's going against their personal nature, and because of that, it feels so very heavy. So the path to well-being involves changing their lives. And that's where you come in. With the justice here, master number 11 as well. Stick to your truth and everything will turn out just fine. Yep. Teaching them to rely on their own intuition, letting their own intuition guide them, and trusting that what they feel called to put out, there's an audience for it, to whichever degree they need to change or feel called to change something in their life, you know? Whatever they want to birth, there's an audience for it. Whatever they will birth, the creations that they birth, that will be the truth. That will be their truth, and it will be received well. It's part of the rebalancing act as well. Okay, so that's it for avenue number 1. That's really interesting. Thank you so much. Let me look into avenue number 2, purification and change. I already spoke about the purification and change, and it's interesting because that was already part of lighten your load as well, right? How does this play out? Which deck would you like me? Okay, before I choose another deck, they want me to talk about the change card here. You know, when we think about change is very difficult for us to embrace, and we often feel a lot of fear connected to it. And you see here, this is a rather whimsical depiction of it. And this particular change card of this deck speaks about the joy in change, the freedom that is present in change, the freedom of being able to choose differently, to create something new, the excitement of it all. Which is a very particular way of addressing change, rather than it coming from a place of fear. Let's see how this connects in which deck. Okay, this one. What can you share with us about avenue number 2? What can you share with us about avenue number 2? Just one more. Okay, different deck. Get the Ace of Boons underneath. I'm gonna move this here. I'm gonna show it to you in a moment. Don't you worry about that. I need a different deck though. It's an archetype card. Okay, can you please clarify? Whoa. Okay, clearly that deck was meant to be to be used. Underneath the deck we have the card of the Shaman, which is interesting. I feel like something else wants to come out. I'm gonna start and then I'm gonna see, because right now I'm not getting a clear message which deck. I have a bit of a feeling, but I don't know for sure. Okay, so we have the Four of Visions. I mean, just looking at the imagery, it already paints a picture, which is why I love this tarot deck so much. And then we had Two of Boons. You see like the topic of rebalancing again present. And then we have the Six of Boons. And then we have the Nectar. Oh, curious. Also, I mean the Flower. And we have the Destroyer. Wow. Okay, powerful energies here. Can you see all of them? Yes, you can. Fantastic. So this purification and change is connected to people who are hopeless, who have lost hope for change, who feel very disillusioned by the world and what's going on, and who have a very negative view and focus on everything. You know, it could be that something positive happens, but they are always noticing the worst first and foremost, and that's the very thing that sticks into their mind. It's people who are quite oblivious to the magic that's present in the world, to the inner workings of energy, how things are connected. Topics of synchronicity are quite absent from their lives. And when I say that, by the way, I mean no judgment at all. All right. I see that depicted here in the Four of Visions because you see there's so much magic happening here. And this person that's sitting here, like, they're not noticing anything because of their mood. They don't see anything. It's happening all around them, but they don't see it. They are not present. They don't see it. But here's what they see. They see that every time that they attempt to rebalance themselves, there is something lurking in the shadow, just waiting to grab up and pull them off balance again. That's where their main focus is, the focus of their mind. It's a focus of poverty consciousness as well, a feeling of, I always have to go without. I always have to go without. I'm always left out in the cold. No one is there for me. I'm alone in this world. Nothing good will come to me. That's the kind of energy that's present. With the Six of Boons, when you look at this, in this particular tarot deck, this woman, she got lost in the woods and she needs to sleep out there for the night, you know, and you see everything is frozen. It's the middle of winter and she lays down, she's super cold, and as she sleeps, suddenly all of these rabbits appear to warm her, give her warmth, and get her through the night. You know, it's about, but she's sleeping. She's not really aware of it. She's not consciously aware that that's what's happening, but it's happening. So in opening up to those kind of energies is part of the purification, part of the change. You know, seeing change as a positive rather than a pure act of destruction, rather than a violent act of destruction. And it's people who have gone through very hard things in their lives, very, very significant trauma, you know, where they've had this kind of experience that where every time they think they caught balance again, something like pulled them off kilter again, something happened. It's almost like every single positive step that I take, the rug gets pulled from under me again and again and again. And these people are experiencing an awakening. So it's people who are experiencing an awakening, and everything gets shaken up in their life because of it. You know, they slowly start to see, they start to perceive things a bit differently. They start to maybe even see some energies. Third eye opening. All of a sudden they're starting to be able to see, and they start to see the support and this change of navigating what they perceive, what's present, you know, adjusting their energy, adjusting their frequency, purifying perhaps some of the scarier things that they might perceive and see based on their energy and where they're at, helping them purify their energy and moving through this awakening or with this awakening in a way that is more positive, a bit more light, so that they feel, you know, the nectar, that's the sweetness of life, that's the sweetness of everything. It's life-giving, which then also means that this is life-changing. Very, very big change. I heard the words like awakening coach, but again, that's just one way of working with people who are in the process of awakening. There are many different ways. But even when we look at this card, I need to sneeze one moment. Even when we look at this purification card, you see that the sun is shining, but it's still raining. You know, like it's this in between. Sun is shining, but it's raining. It's also teaching them to be in their energy, shine their light, despite the world, outside world, doing what it's doing. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. I'm gonna go onto the next pile, because your reading is already quite long. This is really interesting, though. And then we have the Central Sun, Abundance Downloads, Regeneration and Success, Arcturian Light Codes, Evolutionary Downloads, Recalling Power, Future Thinking. I can't help but focus on all of the light that's erupting, everywhere. I also see all of the crystal grid of light that's present, and it has this kind of globe-like spherical shape spanning the earth. Evolutionary downloads. And then we have Pluto and spring. I mean, Pluto is an energy that speaks about the underworld. It's also an energy that speaks about power. And the power that the underworld holds on us, freeing us from the influences of the underworld. I'm also getting, because of the spider web, I'm also getting this like feeling of being stuck, and stuck in the underworld is like a topic of addiction, could be. Working with people who have addiction to some degree and feel like they have lost control, they have lost power, feeling powerless, and moving them from the underworld into the spring, where things start to bloom again, things start to awaken again in their lives or in themselves. So it's people who on the inside feel dead inside. There's no other way to say that. They feel dead inside. They feel quite numb, but they do want to live again. So there's this thawing of what's frozen inside of them to move into spring, which also then means surrounding the topic of power, which also means that they start to take action, positive actions in their lives to get themselves out of addiction, finding better coping mechanism. I mean, at the core of addiction is often a feeling, an experience, or something that they want to numb. They don't want to experience it, and so the only way that they know how to numb that experience or that feeling is by taking or partaking any kind of substance abuse. And substance abuse, there can be many different things. It could be something like drugs. It could be something like alcohol, but it could also be something like overeating or undereating, or just like disordered eating in general. It could also be something like spending money. It could be something like going partying a lot. It could be wanting to be surrounded by people 24/7 so that you don't have any space for your own thoughts anymore. There are so many different ways. It could even be moving your body in such an extreme way that your mind is too tired to think about it or anything. There are so many different ways of numbing yourself to not feel and experience something specific. And I feel like those are the kinds of people that are at the core of this. And what you will teach them is how to regenerate themselves. You will teach them the action points of moving out of this state of numbness into reawakening, into feeling again, and also how to cope with these feelings. I mean, spring is a beautiful time where everything starts to thaw and everything starts to grow and blossom, and you have little seedlings that break through the surface of the earth, and they grow and grow and grow. You're teaching them how to regenerate themselves and how to make themselves grow again, or grow something new, planting new seeds, and then nurturing those seeds enough that they have space to blossom and bloom into something new. And with the sun that's present here, that's the power symbol. That's the inner center of your power. If we're talking about the sun energy and we're looking at chakra theory, we would be talking about the solar plexus chakra, which is the center, the seat of our power. It's the place from which we carry out our action, where our willpower is. That's the success that's present here, moving completely out of addiction. Allowing themselves to feel. That's why we have the Arcturian light codes present here as well. It's, the Arcturians are masters when it comes to emotional healing as well. And emotional healing is at the very core of moving out of addiction, right? Because the thing that caused the need to numb in the first place is the very thing that needs to be addressed in order to move out of addiction. So it's like very, very deep work in the underworld and then guiding them out of the underworld into spring. Recalling the power. That's it. Recalling the power. Learning techniques, how to handle this kind of emotional pain in the future. Or not just emotional pain, but if something challenging happens that could throw you off, how to handle that. And that's the future thinking. It's like future proofing almost, future proofing their personal tool belt of things that they can do in order to cope with life. I haven't even pulled another additional card for this at all. Do I even feel called to? Maybe just one. Which one? Just this one. Okay. Just this one. One card for Avenue number 3, please. One extra card for Avenue number 3. Is that one? Sometimes you have to be willing to bend the rules a little bit. I want another one. Please. Thank you. I got 2. And bottom deck energy is Page of Wands. Just because you're passionate about it doesn't mean it will be effortless. I love the roses that are present here. I'm also curious because we got 2 windows that are open, right? And she's standing there and she's moving, sneaking out of the window, so to speak. And we got live in a constant state of gratitude. The 9 of Cups, it's interesting. This card in particular speaks about living life in an unconventional way that is unique to you. Because here she's living out of her van because she wants to. It's her happy place. It's where she wants to be. And yes, it's unconventional, but it doesn't deter her from making her decisions and doing what's best for her. And then we have the card of the Emperor. Being the authority of your own life comes with a lot of responsibility. Yeah. So with the Knight of Wands here, this is about the Nine of Wands, just so you can see. I think I need to move them here. Yeah. With the Knight of Wands, bending the rules a little. Bending the rules a little. It's a complete and utter change of mindset and personal rules to live by that you will instill in these people. A complete restructuring of the mind, a complete restructuring of values, of what's important. It's not so much that you are pushing that on them at all. It's not like that at all. It's more so that them clearing out this original kind of pain frees up a lot of space for them to create new rules for themselves, to create a life that they actually want to be a part of, where it's a life where they no longer have the need to numb completely. It's no longer necessary because it's in alignment with them. And that will then in turn create this sense of being the authority of their own lives. Okay. This is a very long reading for you. I enjoyed every second of it, but I will leave it here. I am going to leave it here. I feel like this reading for you was more of a heads up on what's coming. All right, so my lovely pile number 2s, I hope you enjoyed this reading. I'm thinking right now if I have some support for you. I'm sure I do. It doesn't come to my mind right now, but do make sure to check the description box. I'm pretty sure I have at least a REIKI treatment that is connected to following your mission or being true to yourself or something of that nature. I'm blanking right now, but I'm pretty sure I have something for you so that you can nourish yourself a bit further after this reading and anytime that you feel like it. And aside from that, thank you for allowing me to read your energy. It was an absolute pleasure to dive into this. I'm curious to hear how this plays out for you with the different avenues, if you choose one of these or if it feels resonant for you. It was an absolute blast to go down to discover these 3 roads together with you, and have a beautiful rest of your day, and I hope I see you soon again. Bye. If you felt drawn to this lovely in the middle of the bridge card, then welcome to your reading. And as I started to prepare for your pile in particular, there has been a lot of interference happening. You might hear some background noise, for example. Apologies for that. There's nothing I can do about it. It's construction, and it's wild because I've been recording all of the readings one after the other on the same day, and it's been quiet for the entire time, and all of a sudden it's like 3:30 p.m. right now. So, usually that's not really when construction starts, but for some reason they decided that now is the time. So we're just going to roll through all the interferences and see that your message gets out. And for the other piles, I've started the reading by reading from the guidebook in the middle of the bridge. But I don't feel like that's the right action for this pile in particular. And the reason is that I think what's written in the guidebook is not connected to your reading. So the middle of the bridge, or the meaning for the middle of the bridge is a different one that I feel for you. So what I will do instead is I will show you the card, and I'm just gonna straight up channel what this is about for you as a little intro. So let me take a few moments to settle in. This is about mediumship and your mediumship abilities awakening. You are the bridge. You are in the middle of the bridge, and you are the bridge. One hand firmly planted down on the earth, and the other firmly connected to the divine. You're entering into a unique position where you can allow the information to flow through you back down to earth. All right. Let's see. we're gonna use that as a jumping off point for you, my lovely pile 3s, and let's see. That was a rather short channel. Okay, let me pull a couple more cards. We got mediumship awakening and channeling messages and being the connection between the earth and the divine, or the earth and the unseen. What do we got? Okay. So what messages do you have for my pile number 3s? Oh, this is way too many. I'm not taking all of these. So you can clarify if you want, but that's too many. I'm not taking that many. I'll take one more. Don't you love the humor in these? Just the sass and the pulling of the cards sometimes cracks me up. How immediate was that? All right, we're gonna have a look at this. The first card that we got is the riddle. Okay, we need to place this down here. We got agape, being the light that is connected from both sides. We got the thread. And then I feel like taking the bottom deck energy as well, which is the card of the cave. And I feel like pulling one more. Which deck should I use though? This deck. One more message for Power 3, please. What's going on? One card, please. Thank you. Gaia Gateway Activation. Learning experiences, wisdom transmission, earth intelligence. And then at the bottom of the deck we got karmic board clearing, energetic clearing, rewrite your story, live your truth. Okay, this also needs to go on the table. I really hope you cannot hear all of the noise that's going on outside. Wild. I didn't say it, but I also got, when I started pulling for your deck, I started to feel or hear a lower vibrational ringing in my right ear. And then when I kept shuffling and kept pulling, I felt pain in my left ear. And the pain in the left ear was connected to a message of clairaudience waking up. It's like it felt like the sensation when you are either in an airplane or you're going up a mountain, or you could also technically, I guess, dive down, when you feel the pressure in your ear change and you feel like you need to yawn or you need to move your mouth in some way to relieve that pressure. And that was the sensation. Bringing that into your reading now, there is a pressure built up, or there has been a pressure built up inside of you that wants to be released. So the pressure cooker is you. You are the pressure cooker. The pressure wants to be released. The pressure that is present is connected to a holding on of the status quo. I feel like me speaking about mediumship abilities is not new to you, or at least to most of you, it's not new. You are aware to some degree that you have that, but you don't want to have that, and you don't want to deal with that. And because of that, you've tried to suppress it a bit because it's unconventional. It can be a bit scary, or a lot scary, depending on what's going on and whether you know how to handle what's happening or not. It can be quite scary, and you didn't want to handle that, and so you pushed it away a bit. But it is a part of who you are, It is a part of who you are. And suppressing it will not make it go away. Suppressing it will turn this kind of energy into what feels like almost uncontrollable outbursts of experiences that are scarier than the one that you've had before. You know, it's almost like a bit of a downward spiral. And what I mean by that is when you are not allowing that energy to flow through you and you don't want to address it, you don't want to learn how to handle yourself when something like that hits, or you don't want to learn about the different types of energies that you can sense, how to protect yourself, how to draw boundaries, how to master that gift of yours, it will burst through in the least comfortable way. And then because there is not a lot of control coming from your end, it almost opens up a gate for energies to come through that you don't want to connect with. Which then, refuels that fear cycle of I don't want to see, I don't want to be here, I don't want to do this, I don't want to deal with this, I don't want to have this gift. Which is understandable, I mean, I've also had a few scary interactions as a medium. To be honest with you, I've never spoken to a medium that didn't have some scary interactions, particularly in the earlier stages when your boundaries are not really set and you don't know that much or haven't learned that much about the energy protection that goes into it and all of it, everything else, It's, from my perspective, almost a bit of a rite of passage, and it's usually, these experiences usually trigger you into and guide you into learning the necessary energetic protection so that these energies can't come through to you anymore. Because at the end of the day, it is a power that you have. Like, you can decide which energies can come through to you and which ones can't. But in order to master that, in order to learn that, you need to acknowledge that you have this gift in the first place. I mean, how can you control something that you deny having access to? You can't. So that's the first step here, to acknowledge that you have that gift, that this is part of who you are. And it doesn't mean that you need to work with it. You don't need to professionally work with it. You don't need to interact with it in any particular way that feels uncomfortable for you. But you need to learn enough about it so that you can live your life in a peaceful manner. I hope that makes sense. So when we look at the card of the riddle, which is interesting, you see that there are 3 different energies reaching and connecting, like 3 different energies reaching to see. You see the eye here in the center, and you see 3 different energies in the little never-ending knot here that's going on, or the never-ending knot that's going on. And I feel like it's a gift that has been very sought after in your ancestral line. And when I say ancestral line, this doesn't just span the ancestral line of the people that you or the family that you just incarnated in right now, but I'm speaking about ancestral line also in terms of other lives that you may have lived, whether they were on planet Earth or in a different part of the universe. It's irrelevant, but it has been a very sought after gift. And your fear connects back to one of these experiences or a few of these experiences in other lives where you had that gift, you portrayed that gift, but you have been taken advantage of to some degree. In that lifetime, or towards the end of that lifetime, maybe even after you have left that life, on a soul level, you have made a decision to lock that ability away so that no one from the outside can reach it. It's yours to have, but no one from the outside can reach it. No, none of the other energies that want to have access to this can reach it. And the card of the riddle also speaks about how there is no answer to the question. And it's almost like you created yourself into this enigma where, from the outside perspective, if you don't talk about that gift, and I feel like you haven't talked about that gift, like no one knows that you actually have that. No one knows. It skipped several generations in the family line that you're in now. So it's unique in that degree as well. And it was locked inside of you. So no one knows that you actually have that. What's interesting is that we have this paired up with the card of Agape, which speaks about unconditional love, devotion, and being of service. And this card, it asks the question of, what if instead of putting yourself at the center of your spiritual practice, you put God or Source, the universe, whatever term resonates with you, at the center of it? How would that change your practice? How would that change for you to be of service? And the combination between these two basically speaks about how this gift that you have it for a reason. You don't have it so that it can be locked away indefinitely, but you have it to access it, to master it, to use it to be of service to yourself and the world. And again, this doesn't speak about doing that professionally if you don't want to. You making peace with that gift by yourself is already a huge act of service to the universe. Remember that we are all connected, and when you release barriers inside of yourself and accept yourself and unconditionally love yourself, you are also helping someone else across the world in a different part or a different part of the universe to do the same for themselves. So truly the saying of, if you only help one person in this life and it's yourself, you have done enough. There is a lot of validity to it. The reason that I'm emphasizing this is because I don't want you to come out of this reading and feel like you are pressured into changing your entire life to put yourself in service of the entire world just by using this gift and resenting it. Because that's not what we're about here. Okay. Let me get back to this card. So that's at the center question that this card asks you. And when we look at the imagery here, we see that there is a light that goes up and there's a light that comes down. There is, again, this energy present of the bridge, of the energy coming up, going down, and being transmuted or being transferred. You see here it goes then down. There is an undeniable pull for you to open up that flow of energy inside of yourself. What this can do for you and why this is important, we see as well in the card of the thread. Following the red thread, you see the thread here. We got someone who is in the darkness and then moving up into the rainbow color, into the light. We got the rainbow bridge as a saying as well. You know, going over the rainbow bridge is a term that can be used to describe someone who has died and who's crossing over to whatever comes next, to the other side, going across a rainbow bridge, you being the one that bridges. So that could be something that is within your capabilities to do for work if you wanted to, or even if it's not for work, just, you know, doing a little bit here or there if you feel called to it. It's something that technically you could do. But this goes beyond that. It's a reconnection, following the red thread, opening yourself up to that energetic flow within yourself, allowing that ability to exist within yourself and learning how to handle it in a way that doesn't overwhelm you, in a way that you have control over when you perceive something and when you don't want to perceive something, creating a quiet space at home, for example, right? So that you don't get woken up in the middle of the night by energies being around and pulling on you because they know that you can see them, they know you can perceive them. So from a spiritual standpoint, the energies are curious about you, so they are also drawn to you because they know that you can perceive them. So there's a pull towards you as well. Creating a safe space at home, learning the necessary energetic protection methods that work for you, because there are many. When you start diving into that and looking into that, there are many different ones. And, you know, you might find that one particular technique works for you for a few years, and then the demand or the need shifts a bit and you learn a better technique that works for you now. You know, it's not as set in stone as we would like it, where it's just the one thing that I can do and then it's done. It's a bit of a practice and an exploration, because these methods grow alongside you. This will allow, so opening up this flow of energy inside of yourself will allow you to find is not the right word. It will allow you to become a more happy version of yourself. Because you know you cannot choose which parts of yourself you numb. When you numb a certain part out, you numb, to a certain degree, you numb everything down. You can't pick and choose. So when you numb that particular part of yourself that is so integral to you, you also numb your self-expression, you numb the depth of joy that you can feel, the depth of love that you can feel. There's a suppression here, and you know that the way in which you've been living, it doesn't really feel like enough for you. Like you want more. But in order to experience more, to feel more fully yourself, to feel more fulfilled in your life, this is a huge part of yourself that wants to be reintegrated. And that is following the red thread to a place where you feel safe. You always are safe, but to a place where you feel safe, where you feel protected, where you connect with higher energies, with the lighter kinds of energies, with the entities that are cloaked and made up of the golden light that are made up in and of themselves of unconditional love. Because when it comes to entities and experiencing spirits, you have the shadow energies, you have the dark energies, but you also have the light energies. And, like you see here, the yin and yang, the universe is in balance. So far, you have experienced more of the shadow energies, of the darker energies. When you allow yourself to learn, set the boundaries, all that stays is an opportunity for the lighter energies to come through and connect with you from a place of unconditional love and joy, which ultimately will also help you become more in tune with your intuition and allowing it to guide you more deeply through your life. You have a very, very strong gift for this. And with the cave here, it's interesting because the cave, I see two things here. First of all, have a look at the imagery. You see that there is someone or some eyes staring back at you from the darkness. I feel like just by saying that, some of you have had experiences where you woke up in the middle of the night and everything was dark and you looked around and you kind of saw, but you saw eyes looking at you. So that in and of itself is kind of scary, the fear of the darkness. Yeah, fear of the dark entities, fear of the dark energies that you might encounter or that might be present. That's a fear that can be present or that is present. On another note, it's interesting that I feel like the eyes and the hands are not connected. It's like the hands are connected to you. And what you see here, this hand position is actually, it's kind of funny. It is connected to EFT, which is it's called emotional freedom technique. It's something that I offered for a few years as an energetic healing tool, self-healing tool, self-soothing technique. It works on the grounds of acupuncture, where you have different parts of your body that allow you to access your emotions and help you to soothe, relax, and bring your physical state or bring your body into a state where you can deeply relax and access suppressed emotions from any point in time where you felt overwhelmed, where you suppressed something and you can release it. The point that's depicted here that she is, or he is, that they are, that they are tapping on, it's right here. It's called the 9 gamut point. And in the practice of EFT tapping, this is a point that we will usually go to at the very end when we want to release the last little bits. It's also a point that's connected to the brain and heart coherence as a topic. I'm going to leave something down below for you in the description box if you want to dive a bit deeper into that. And EFT tapping could be a tool to help you process your emotions and process your experiences, because listen, someone as sensitive as you when it comes to picking up on all different kinds of energies has a challenge of having a very sensitive nervous system that is almost always on high alert. Right? The clairaudience, for example, if there is a noise that is a bit louder, it will set you off a lot more than it will set off someone else, because you hear it a lot stronger, because your hearing is finely tuned. The same time, when you are clairaudient and there is, let's say, a noise that was not made. How can I phrase that? A noise that has been made by a supernatural occurrence. I think that's the best way I can describe that. You also hear it much more, or much sharper. It has a much sharper sound, perhaps, for you, or it sounds differently somehow, where you know what the source is. And it starts to set your entire body off. Like the alarm bells are going off. Someone's here, you can't see them, but there's an energy here. Hello, you're not alone anymore. You need to learn how to soothe your body a bit more. So tapping could be one way of doing that, to help you soothe yourself and bring down your nervous system, even if there is an energy present. So that's one thing I wanted to say. And I actually have a third message for this card, and it's connected to the topic of the cave itself. You know how the cave, when we're thinking about the cave and human history, the cave has been a safe spot for a very long time. Humans have lived in caves, they were the natural shelters from the elements. So humans would congregate in the caves and create fireplaces for warmth, for cooking food, general comfort, sleeping in there. The cave has a symbol of being a safe spot. Even now, when we're thinking about someone who is creating a cave, for some reason the phrase "man cave" comes in, which, okay, I'm not gonna dive into that too much, but as a concept as well, the man cave is a safe space to rest, replenish, regenerate. And I find it interesting that your perceived safe space is infiltrated, and I don't use the word infiltrated lightly, but is infiltrated by the energy, so that you feel like you are constantly on edge. You might also want to go for a house cleansing. House cleansing, I can recommend that for you for sure. Whether that's something that you perform yourself or you go to someone who does that professionally, you can try it out yourself. If you feel like it's not sufficient or the cleansing that you do is not sufficient, you can go to someone who does that professionally. But there's something going on with energies being present in your house and setting you off, setting you on edge, making you feel like your safe space is no longer your safe space. With all of the lush foliage present here as well, it's and like the opening to the cave is kind of small, I feel like this is happening beneath the surface, or like not beneath the surface is not the right word. It's like you are trying in your household, like you are trying to handle this entire situation by yourself. It's like you see what's going on, you know what's going on, but no one else is and no one else can. And you're not comfortable with bringing it up. Because again, you haven't shared that part of yourself. It might even be beneficial for you to, if you can, of course, spend a few days or nights in a different place, just to get a bit of a breather of the energy that's present there, a feeling of calming yourself down a bit more. But again, I strongly recommend for you to learn some energy protection methods and cleansing and self-soothing methods. I have so much to say about this topic. and about energy protection and self-cleansing. I will create something on this topic in the future that's just focused on energy protection. I am planning it at the moment, actually. It's not announced anywhere and I didn't want to share it, but I feel like you need to know about that. I'm going to make a note for myself after this reading that whenever I have created what I wanted to create, or at least started to share it, that I'm going to add it in the description box, because I don't know when you're going to find this video, but if you find this and it's out already, you will find it somewhere down in the description box for your pile specifically. But if you are watching this as this goes live, or, let's say maybe within the month of this video being published, there are lots of resources that you can look up online. And if you try one technique and it doesn't necessarily work for you, don't stress out too much about it. The process of protection is unique, and it's something that that needs to be aligned with you. Not every method is going to feel true to you. So don't be afraid to try certain things out. I am going to give you one example. Very early on, I also had the mediumship breaking open in my life again. It was present when I was a child. It went away for lots of different reasons. And then in, I think 2020 it started to come back online with a noise that, and like a heightened volume of interference and everything else it was very intense. Okay, it was very intense. It was very challenging. So I empathize with your reading and with you a lot. And in the earlier stages, I didn't know about energy protection, so I made some decisions that, looking back at them, I'm like laughing at myself a little bit, not in a condescending way, but it's like, oh my God, sweet summer child, that kind of thing. But I didn't know back then, so it's okay. And looking back at the entire journey, I'm a very firm believer of whatever experience you're having is the one that you need to have. So even if it's something that is a bit scary, you're having it for a reason. It's a teaching moment for you. And I had several teaching moments, but I had one very defining teaching moment where I realized I needed to learn energy protection and cleansing now. And it was something that happened in the middle of the night. Again, look in the description box, because I will share that experience, but not in this reading. It's a longer story. And I want to talk more about these topics in general, so there's something coming your way. And when I learned that, I moved from learning a very basic energy bubble protection method, and I tried working with some different talismans of having like a little glass bottle, and inside of this little glass bottle I had, I think, like salt, charcoal, dried sage, and a crystal, and I put that by the side of my bed, and that worked. And then later on I moved to cleansing and protecting with sage. I used rosemary. I had some Palo Santo. I tried other meditations, other visualization techniques, and all of this developed to the point where I am now, where I predominantly use REIKI and a very specific application of REIKI and the REIKI symbols. And, I could not have done that back then because I didn't know about REIKI back then, and I didn't have the capabilities with REIKI that I do now, because the REIKI symbols are something that you learn as you move deeper into REIKI. It's not, you don't There are like different levels of learning Reiki, and when you start, you learn level 1, and you don't learn about the Reiki symbols in level 1. It's only something that comes later down the road. My point being that the protection methods that you use are flexible. And it's okay to move from one thing to another, and it's okay to use something for 3 months, 6 months, a year, and then realizing that you want to investigate a bit more and try out other methods and see what fits for you. Okay, there's nothing more coming through about the energy protection. We got Gaia Gateway activation, learning experiences, wisdom transmission, and earth intelligence. And this talks about the learning experiences that I just, when I just shared that brief little story when it comes to me, that, it was a huge learning experience that moved me into learning about energy protection and cleansing, and I started to investigate more when it comes to this topic, and how does my sense work? Where are my boundaries? What am I comfortable allowing? What can I not allow? Mediumship is not something that you can learn from a book. Mediumship is something that is always a learned experience and wisdom that is accumulated through experiences. No two mediums are alike. There are no two mediums where their senses are working exactly the same, which also means that every single method needs to be adapted to you personally. When it comes to the earth intelligence, there is an opportunity for you. And I say opportunity for a reason, because again, you can take it, you don't have to take it. The reason that this is coming up for you now in this moment of time, or in this moment of human evolution, if you will, is because the earth, Mama Gaia, the consciousness of the earth, is asking for our help to be healed, is asking for our help to be freed, supported, released, nourished, tended to. From an energy perspective and mediumship, there are a lot of energies present on this earth that haven't fully crossed over. I like to call them earthbound spirits. They are often humans, or they can be humans, but not necessarily. There are also other energies present. And the commonality between those energies is that they have spent time on Earth in physical form to some capacity, and they have died in whatever capacity they can die, but they haven't left the earthly planes, they haven't left Earth. And it's an energy, or those are energies that are influencing the frequency of Earth, influencing the frequency of the people living here in a non-supportive way. Often disruptive, often intrusive, often heavy. So one way of application for your gift could be to learn how to help energies cross over, cleanse the space little by little. You can go the entire earth if you want to, of course, and focus your energy on that part. But even just doing a little bit at a time helps to heal the earth and free her. Free all of us from this kind of energy, from the heaviness. it's a lightning of vibration, a lightning of energy. And as I said that, I now notice that there's also a rainbow present here, helping the energies to find the red thread to cross over the rainbow bridge. I spoke about that already. And we also have the imagery, right, of like walking up through a portal to leave Earth. It could even be the imagery of someone has just, like the Earth is the portal someone has just walked through. And is, like taking a look back and looking back on Earth, and has already crossed over. That can be a perspective for this card as well. I never looked at the card this way before. It's interesting. But that's something that you can do. It could be part of your soul contract. The most important part about this is that you do the energetic clearing within yourself. We got the karmic clearing board. I think earlier in the reading I touched on these like past life experiences that have caused you to lock this gift away, where you're like, nope, I will not be taken advantage of. I will not deal with this. And that kind of pain, like being locked away, it's time for you to clear that now. That's the kind of karma that wants to be cleared now. It allows you to rewrite your story, because when we're looking at this, it's an empowerment from a victim mentality due to the experiences that you've had. And I'm not going to go into these experiences that you've had because it's a collective reading. And also we're like running out of time. This reading is already running quite long. But learning how to stand in the power of this gift of yours, and learning how to control it, how to work with it, how to use it for good, how to turn it on, turn it off whenever you want to, how to create these kinds of safe zones in your home or wherever you are when you're traveling, where you can choose to engage with those energies, or you are deciding, you know what, not right now, I'm just chilling out, and you shut that door. That is empowerment, and that is a shift out of this victim mentality. That's a shift into power, which will allow you to rewrite your story and to live your truth. It then becomes a story of overcoming these past experiences, overcoming these past experiences, overcoming that kind of pain, and understanding the way that the universe works and the energetics of the universe, the energetics of the soul in general, from a much deeper perspective. And living as your authentic self. I'm gonna take a quick sip of my tea. And I feel like I only want to pull 2 more cards for you, and I think that was the main message that needed to come through for you. I'm going to move these 2 up here for now. Yeah. And the 2 messages, I feel like pulling an energy in that's a bit softer. I feel like this one. Like, how can you nurture yourself? How can my pile number 3s nurture themselves? The Great Mother. Surrender to the mystery, fall into her arms. Okay, I need to read this from the guidebook for you in a moment. We got bottom deck energy of release the petals. Transformation, death and rebirth, shedding all change. Yeah, like releasing this fear, releasing this old trauma, so that you can be free again, that you can be rebirthed. Where's my guidebook? It's here. Great Mother. Here we are. The Great Mother, surrender to the mystery, fall into her arms. The Great Mother ushered you in when you first took your The Great Mother ushered you in when you took your first breath, and she'll be there when you draw your last. She knows how challenging life on Earth can be, that at times being human can be painful, lonely, and confusing, that the polarity and separation can be difficult when your soul remembers the oneness of Source. But at the same time, it can be incredibly glorious and sweet. We often see things as either good or bad. When things go well, we make it mean that everything's okay. And when things don't work out, then perhaps we've done something wrong or have something to fix. We have forgotten that life on Earth is not like that. Polarity is at the core of the Earth experience. And it's through the polar extremes that we grow the most. We are not meant to avoid the night, the shadow, and the winter. This life is but a single breath in the inextinguishable existence of your experience as a soul. Hand over your worries, hurt, sorrow, fears, and doubts to the Great Mother. Lay them on her altar. Return to the sureness of the soil. Fall fully into her arms. Surrender to the mystery woven through it all. Remember that while these extremes are difficult, they can also be magnificent, that unrestrained joy is closer to grief than we think, and perhaps the more wildly the pendulum of your life swings, the more you can say, I have truly lived. Rose Transmission. I am ready to embrace the extremes of my life. I lay all that I'm carrying onto the altar and fall into the Great Mother's arms. I feel like that connects back to what I spoke about with the numbing of this sense, that then everything is more quiet. Everything is quieted down. I do want to pull one more. Which deck do I feel like? I feel like this one. What last message do you have for our lovely pile number 3s? What message we got? Impatience at the bottom. My life is unfolding in divine timing. All delays are beneficial. I'm always at the right place at the right time. And then we got independence. You see the butterfly here, which, of course, is a symbol of transformation. The more you learn to feed yourself on the inside and care for the inner child, the more freestanding you become. Help me feed and love this inner child, dear Lord. And I feel like this ties into the reading beautifully and connects back to what I spoke about, the self-soothing techniques, when you have this feeling of being the child that's in the darkness and that's scared. How can you take care of your inner child then? Because it triggers the feelings of being the vulnerable child or in that vulnerable position. This is as much other life work as it is inner child work. It's the same. I honestly wish I could give you a hug right now. I feel like you need it. It's almost like it's a feeling that's coming through from your end. It's almost like this reading has confirmed something that you didn't want to confirm. You know, like you wish that this reading would have been about anything else, and this message would not have been the message that it was. You know, more along the lines of, don't worry, you know, you're making it up. It's not real. And it's like, oh crap, now I got to deal with that. That's almost the energy that's coming through from you. And if that's the case, I get it. I get it. I did not want to deal with it myself for a while. So I'm sending you a hug. And the thing that I want to leave you with is a message of hope. Because as scary as these encounters can be when you don't really understand your energy, as magnificent they can become when you have a full grasp on it. It is, without a shadow of a doubt, the most enriching aspect that I ever stumbled across, the most unexpected enriching aspect I ever stumbled across. It allows me to experience life in all its facets with a lot more depth. I understand a lot more than I did before about what's happening now, about what will happen in the future, about what will happen when we're no longer physically in our body. It's just one giant learning experience. It also allowed me to understand the energetic nature of this universe on a much deeper level than I would have done before. And I mean, I do the releasement work, like being this bridge professionally. That's something that I am doing in lots of different ways. And I can tell you that when you have found your modality that works for you in the way that you want it to, and you're aligned with it, it's the most peaceful practice that you can imagine. Like, I've cried several times after I did releasements, not because it was so scary, but because the entire process, and I'm getting teary-eyed as I think about that one particular one, just because of the pure unconditional love that is present during these like crossing over ceremonies. It's so peaceful. It can be so filled with so much unconditional love. And remember, because you're sensitive, you feel all of it. I don't even have the words to describe that experience to you. Even if I sat here for 2 hours and I tried to describe it, I can't. I couldn't even do that in my native language, you know what I mean? So find some self-soothing techniques that work for you. I can leave something, I already said that I'm going to leave some EFT stuff down in the description box for you for your pile as extra resource. And I'm sending you a lot of courage for exploring that part of yourself just by yourself, you know, again, without doing it professionally, but allowing yourself to open to that part of yourself. Like, I'm sending you a lot of courage, a lot of strength, and a lot of unconditional love. And that's the reading that I have for you today. Make yourself a cup of tea. Let it all sink in. And I hope I see you again soon, and have a lovely rest of your day. Bye.